Naka-Kon will be a test case on how not to recover, how an anime convention not recover from a natural disaster or a pandemic or a government mandated shutdown. Naka-Kon is an anime convention located in Overland Park, Kansas, and the Overland Park Convention Center at the Sheraton Overland Park Hotel since 2012/2014. The convention has gained infamy in the anime convention industry and the anime convention scene as the convention that canceled on day zero during the beginning of the Great Lockdowns. And the people who were affected by this have gotten no formal apology from the convention runner or the owner of Naka-Kon themselves. In 2021, they decided to reopen with super crunch and work conditions, including a vaccine mandate, a mask mandate, and a super low attendance cap. Honestly, they admitted to the public for their 2022 convention that they lost so much money because of these mandates and the cap. But instead of actually admitting that these health and safety policies have failed, and they're just going to do the bare minimum they can to run the convention by state law, they're doubling down on the crunch and wokeness by keeping the cap and at the same time they're begging for money. Their goal is $100,000 by the time Naka-Kon returns in May 2022. Now, let me tell you straight up, this problem is self-inflicted. And it's primarily self-inflicted by the unrealistic attendance cap of 2,500 people. That's 2,500 people. They raised it again. They actually raised it to around 6,000 people, 6,000 attendees. But I think it's not going to be enough. They need to end the attendance cap. You have vaccines that are widely available. You could easily make your convention mask optional. But instead, they're doubling down on the health and safety. And now they're begging for money. Now they're trying to find ways, again, $100,000 by the time this convention starts up again in May 2022. And I think that this convention is going to fail. It's going to go out of business. Because it's going to be held at the same date as 6 other conventions. Con in Fargo, MoCon in Atlanta, Anime Amazement in North Carolina, Anime Boston in Boston, Massachusetts, Geekdom Con in 2022, FamilyCon in California in 2022, and MusuCon in Miami in 2022. Those cons I just mentioned will be held on the same dates as Naka-Kon. Great majority of them will not have attendance caps, but there'll still be crunch and work. Now, this convention, Naka-Kon, went from 10,000 attendees in 2018-2019 and now reduced to begging for money and self-imposing every health and safety policy to please the hysterics that are not going to come anyway. At the same time, they're going to be depending on whales and people who have no real choice but to come to keep this convention afloat. So they are deliberately shooting themselves in the foot as a way to virtue signal. This problem is self-inflicted, and they obviously saw that the health and safety policies failed, because even if you're vaccinated, even if you're wearing a mask, if everyone does it, you still might be infected anyway. I mean, Anime NYC was a good case of even if you do everything right, it'll still fail. And instead of anime convention runners in the anime convention industry saying this is not going to work out. We just got to at this point do the bare minimum and just advise people to wear a mask and advise people to get vaccinated. No, no, no. They're all going to double down, or they're going to ignore the issue. And we're going to see a lot of conventions that are going to be collapsing or going out of business for doubling down. And we're going to see a few ones like Anime Matsuri that's going to operate as normal, as close to normal as possible. And you're going to see a lot more attendees that are just going to fly to Texas for their anime convention. For normalcy. People who have money will just going to travel to Texas or Florida if there are any conventions there that are willing to operate as normal. But I think that people are just going to flock to the Naka-Kon series, especially Naka-Kon Prime and Anime Matsuri in Texas. And you're going to have conventions that are still insisting on health and safety wokeness, just going to go out of business. It's not too late for Naka-Kon to reverse all these policies. Just simply go back to normal. And just tell people if you're concerned, wear a mask. If you're concerned, get vaccinated. Instead of deliberately trying to destroy their own industry and their scene. I mean, most people are already over this pandemic. They're done. They're simply done. They want normalcy, but the anime convention industry and the anime convention scene doesn't want to return to normal. Even if they're fully fascinated. Even if they get the booster shots, it won't be enough. And it's never enough because they're in an ideological lock. They're locked down ideologically, and they're willing to destroy their own scenes and conventions under the guise of wokeness, of health and safety wokeness. Part of me is saying that, to me, that I should retire from the anime convention scene because it has radically changed to a point where it's unrecognizable. Otaku is not recognizable to me. Capcom won't be recognizable to me. Alright, I'm saying Manifest not going to be recognizable to me. It's not going to be recognizable because of the fact that I don't see any excitement in the people attending the cons. They're obsessed with Corona-chan. They're obsessed with health and safety. I mean, seriously. A lot of conventions like Naka-Kon are just going to go out of business. This is JK the Otakographer speaking. Hope you have a good day and try to take care of yourselves, will you? It's the end of the year. I mean, actually play video games or watch anime instead of watching the TV news. I mean, it poisons your mind and brain.